Hi YouTube, this is VidHead85 and I'm just here today. I think I'm going to do a little bit of hodgepodge because I did run across some interesting things today. I ran across something about the Founding Fathers and corporations, and a lot of Republicans like to say that, the Founding Fathers would be rolling over in their graves if they had seen something like what President Obama's doing with healthcare. Maybe they might. I think they might have been on board with nationalized healthcare, to be honest with you, because if anything, if we could trust private companies, the thing is, if we could trust private companies to do, the right thing by consumers, then why do we need regulations in the first place? And in fact, speaking of regulations, I think Joe Walsh out of Illinois, he's a rep. Tea Party candidate from Illinois facing Tammy Duckworth on the Democratic line. I believe that this is a race that I definitely want to watch. But going back to the Founding Fathers and healthcare, and then I'll go back to Joe Walsh. The corporations, they would be turning over in their graves if they saw the Supreme Court rule that corporations are people. In fact, according to Addicting Info, the article that I read, the Founding Fathers made sure that any kind of political expenditures by corporations were like harsh penalties. It would have been worse than what the Citizens United was intended to overthrow. So, I feel that if anything, the Founding Fathers knew what they were talking about with corporations. And what happened was, the first corporation that they mentioned was the Dutch East India Company, which was how the British got a hold of India. What ended up happening was if they had done anything like ridiculous or something like that, they would be basically shut out of business. And after the Civil War, they allied with Republicans because at that time Republicans were more pro-business. After slavery was over, they began to become pro-business. And we can thank a liberal now for child labor laws. We can thank a liberal now for workplace safety laws. We can thank liberals for all those things that got the unions there, that got living wages. And now today we are seeing that that people are reversing that, with Scott Walker in Wisconsin, and with many other individuals, with the whole tax cuts for the rich and everything being on the side, the tax code, so many things that we've pointed at in one video. I did report on Romney, the election, but also I did talk about the French Revolution and why it was started. It was started over people not being taxed. The ones that on the bottom, the third estate being taxed the most. So anyway, now about the Joe Walsh, the deadbeat dad of Illinois, who is saying that government regulations are strangling businesses. We see that they are prospering more than ever before and getting free money. If I don't work, I don't get a refund at all. So, needless to say, Mitt Romney hardly paid anything, and he's got like a $77,000 tax break for a horse. Anyway, with Joe Walsh, when I found out that he was a deadbeat father, and of course he's an anti-gay Republican, that was pretty interesting because of the fact that now he has now he's being challenged by Miss Tammy Duckworth, who is a war veteran, and she lost both of her legs in more than likely maybe the Iraq or Afghanistan war. And now that a veteran is his opponent, he's starting to just attack her like nobody else I've ever seen. So that is a race that I definitely want to watch. A few more races I want to watch. Actually, I haven't really seen, well, the one thing that I do want to see a bit more of, and I do I did see that there were about 241 women in races, and quite a few of them made it past their primaries to win, so that they can have a chance in the general election. I feel that this will be a great thing for the House of Representatives because of the fact that there's such a Republican war on women, and not only that, but that leads into public health. But I feel that with more women in the House of Representatives, and possibly getting some more female lady senators, like Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin, I definitely want to watch that race. I hope she wins that one. I believe she's the Democratic candidate. Well, she's a lesbian, but she could have been running for the Republican side, but why anybody would want to do that, and they're gay, I don't know. But anyway, that's definitely a race that I want to watch for 2012. I want to see what happens with the lawsuit in Pennsylvania that was stated by the House leader of Pennsylvania that it will help Governor Romney win Pennsylvania. So I'm wondering what the voter ID law being challenged there. I hope that it's overturned and suspended, so that people can vote in the presidential election without ID required. If anything, I think Florida's is going to be challenged very soon. I really hope so. But these voter ID laws are like a poll tax by any other name. And I did do a video on that. So, in fact, I think I called it voter ID poll tax by another name. And while this one person is sitting here saying that voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud, I have heard some cases of where voter ID would be useful. But all in all, it does not work to do what they're stating that it does, because in fact someone can, there could be ways around that with even a fake ID perhaps, but and that's another story for another day. So YouTube, you have a great day. I'm going to start on my workout in a little bit, and I'll update you after that workout's finished. Have a great day. Bye, YouTube.